Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to discuss men's health and really how we deal with more so men's mental health, right? So not just our health, but also a mental health. I'm going to save health itself in terms of our physical health and all that sort of stuff for another video. But I want to talk more about mental health and how we approach that, some history behind it, all that sort of stuff, what I'm seeing now, stuff from the past. So let's have that conversation today about men and our mental health, our well-being. That's what I want to discuss today. Before I get into the video, so I'm on my journey to 5,000 subscribers. So please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, the purpose of this channel is so that we all could learn together, we could grow together, and we could become better people. So if you've heard me say in other videos, I think I used to be too picky when I first started YouTube, and then stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped and started again. And this time I just think, you know what, I'm just going to turn on the camera and just shoot the video and just talk and just make it happen. All right. So that's what we're going to discuss today. So please subscribe, the journey to 5,000. I would love if you join me on that journey and beyond. And don't forget to like the video. That certainly does help with the journey to 5,000. Don't forget to share it, and please leave your comments. Also, let me know what videos or what topics you would like for me to discuss, and then we can go from there. All right. So, all right, where do we start? Let me start with just the concept of how society in the past has approached mental health and men, and dealing with their wellness and their emotions and their feelings, and where we are today because of history. Because I think it's important to know history, to study history, to pay attention to history, if you are going to grow, right? You've got to know history to know where you were, to know where you are, to know maybe what you need to do to get where you're going, so you don't repeat the same mistakes. And so we're conscious of who we are. And also knowing history gives us a premise from which we could work on, right? So anyway, so mental health for me as growing up, and as far as men are concerned, it always used to be pretty much a taboo type of stuff, right? So men are always supposed to just suck it up, right? Men were always supposed to just suck it up and just deal with it. That's all men are supposed to do, just deal with it. And to a great extent, I guess that can help to build a level of toughness if you learn to just kind of deal with something. But on the other hand, it's like, where do all those feelings go? Where do all those emotions go? Where does all that stuff go when you tell someone to just deal with something, right? If they're supposed to just deal with something. So what we saw was a lot of people just referring to folks and saying, that's my crazy uncle, or that's your crazy cousin, or that's your crazy, or you just being a sissy, or you just being too soft, or you just being a female, or you just being that, even that. Men's emotions and feelings were just dismissed. It was, and using the word, for a man to use the word how he feels or talk about his emotions or his feelings, was something that was also just kind of dismissed, right? It was not something that was seen as you should labor on it. You should really spend much time talking about it, because those feelings were just kind of really just removed, right? Well, removed in a sense that you weren't supposed to discuss it. It's almost like you weren't supposed to have feelings or emotions or whatnot because you're a man. So men are not supposed to, men could cry, I think maybe 3 occasions. If a fourth come to my head while I'm talking, I'll let you know. One was maybe the birth of their child. A man could cry, the birth of his child. Two, a man could cry at his wedding, overcome with emotion, right? Funeral, a man could cry at a funeral, right? And maybe if he's in severe pain. So four, severe pain. Four. If you could think of a fifth or sixth reason, by all means, drop it in the chat. But I can think of a man had to be in severe pain. A man had to be at a funeral. There was a death. There was a birth of his child. And or he was at his wedding, right? That is about it. I mean, if you could think of more, please leave in the chat other reasons why men were allowed to cry. You know, yeah, this is like in the 80s and the 90s, the early 2000s, because I think we've only really started focusing on men's mental health for the last, I think, 10 years. The last 10 years it's become more prominent, and even more so in the last 5, but definitely in the last 10 years. So now that we got through that part, what do you do with those feelings, right? Because wake up call, men got feelings, men have emotions, men can cry. We're human beings. What happens to you if you cannot deal with the pain that you're feeling inside, right? What happens with you if you cannot deal with the pain that you're feeling inside? Where does all that pain go? Where does all that hurt go? Where does it go? Are you just supposed to always just suck it up and just deal with it? Where does it go? Where does all that pain and that emotion where does it go? I don't know. Where does it go? Where's it supposed to go? Right? And so when the bad thing about this too is when you don't have a point or a place to channel that sort of energy, which is natural, it boils, and a lot of times it becomes toxic. And when it is released, when that energy is released, a lot of times it's released in the worst possible ways, right? As utter frustration, as anger, right? That's the way that energy is released, as frustration, as anger. That's how that energy now comes out, because it's like, how do you deal with it, right? You know, the bad thing too is if you end up in a relationship, someone ends up in a relationship with someone who has not learned how to deal with their anger, or deal with their emotions, or deal with feelings and hurt and pain and all that sort of stuff. And then you end up in a relationship with that person, and you trying to navigate circumstances with that person. That is a lot, right? And a lot of folks find themselves in relationships dating people like that, who have all this pent up anger, this pent up toxic energy for things they have never discussed, things they have never talked about. And it's like, what do you do with that pain? What do you do with that? Where does that go? And how do you deal with somebody who's in a relationship like that, that has that kind of anger and pain? What have you done? Leave it in the chat. Let us know, how do you deal with someone who has pent up energy and anger and frustration and stress and all that sort of stuff because they have never dealt with it? Because a lot of times people also don't listen to people who are right next to them, right? It's usually an outsider sometimes that could break through and get through to them, not you who are in the relationship with them, right? So guys, I gotta say it. We are human beings. We do have feelings. We do have emotions. It is okay to cry. There is nothing wrong with that, right? And so I think the thing is, you have to ask yourself, what is best for me? What is best for me? For my wellness, my mental health, what is best for me? And look past society's stereotypes, look past what folks think you should be doing, how you should be living, and take you into consideration, right? Take you into consideration. What is best for you? You can't live in the past if you're trying to live for the future. You cannot live in the past if you're trying to live in the future. So let me know what you all think. Leave your comments down below. How do you suggest, folks deal with their mental health? I'm going to say get help, but for everybody, it's not easy to just go get help, right? I know that's what you got to do. You got to get help. You got to talk to somebody, but for everybody, it's not just as easy as get help, right? Anyway, leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm always going to ask you at the end of every video to do something good for somebody. I don't know what it is. Maybe you pay for someone's, groceries if you got the money and you're in line, you realize the person can't pay. Maybe it's at the dollar store, the Dollar Tree. Pay for something for somebody because you realize they don't have it. Maybe it's to help somebody cross the road. Maybe it's to drop off, give a homeless person something, I don't know, something to eat or whatever. Do something good for somebody. Something, it could be small. It could be small. And you could share with us, right? Let us know how it feels to do something good for somebody. Like, how did you experience something by doing something good for someone? I know sometimes people don't like to share that, and it's fine if you don't want to, but we're advocating for good. And then also do something good for yourself. Do something good for you, right? So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Until the next time, be good. Do something good. Peace.